Good day, everyone. In the next 20 minutes, I will try to explain to you something about a very specific technical issue for colorectal surgeons. This is about taking down the splenic flexure in laparoscopic colorectal surgery. And during the presentation, I will try to answer the question why, when, and how we have to do it. When we try to answer the question why, you have to do the splenic flexion mobilization. You have to think that when we are doing a low anterior resection of the rectum and we are resecting a segment of colon or rectum, and we have to do anastomosis, we have to keep some principles for this anastomosis. And when we take down the splenic flexure, we are trying to get better mobility of the colon, trying to get a tension-free anastomosis, keeping the good blood supply of the descending colon. When you have to decide if you have to do a splenic flexure, you have to balance, keep the right oncologic margins and the right oncologic principles, get a tension-free anastomosis. But you have to know that when you go with the splenic flexure mobilization, you have risk of morbidity, and usually you use a longer OR time. Then you have to balance that, okay? When you have to do the splenic flexure mobilization, usually when you are doing left colectomy or segmental splenic flexure resection, you must to do that. But when you are doing a sigmoidectomy, not always have to take down the splenic flexure. But in general, you can think that you can say that when your anastomosis is going down on the pelvis, when more low is your rectal resection, your need for the splenic flexure mobilization is going up. This paper tried to answer if it's always necessary the splenic flexure mobilization. And here you can see the conclusion of the authors. They say, if the anastomosis can be done safely without tension and having performed a safe oncology resection, there is no need to mobilize the splenic flexure. Then they say, not always. You have to choose case by case. Another paper trying to answer the same question, do we always do the splenic flexure mobilization? And they say the splenic flexure mobilization increase the operating time and has a higher conversion rate, but not increase the morbidity or compromise the cancer outcomes. They say that we only should perform the splenic flexion mobilization in selected case to avoid, especially with the aim of avoid the anastomosis tension. There is no consensus on standardization, and you have to choose case by case. This paper is systematic review and meta-analysis about the safety of the splenic flexion mobilization. And they conclude that splenic flexion mobilizations increase the operating time, but usually the patient has a shorter hospitalization time. They don't show difference in conversion, morbidity, and cancer results. And they say again that you have to use selectively. Splenic flexion mobilization, then you have some key points. We know that it's not routinely indicated. We know that it's not easy. Then you will require surgical skill. You have to train that. There is no standard technique. There are many different ways to do it. You have to consider that there is some anatomical variations, especially in the blood supply in this segment of the colon. Then it's very important keep intact the mesocolon in this part, because if you damage the blood vessels, maybe you can compromise the irrigation of your descending colon. And you have to know that if you are doing the splenic flexion mobilization, you can get some intraoperative morbidities, especially in the splenopancreatic axis. In this paper, the authors sent a survey for some colorectal surgeons, and they score the difficulty of the different surgeries that we usually do by laparoscopy. And they show that the splenic flexure mobilization or the splenic flexure resection, if you analyze the individual step complexity, mobilization of the splenic flexure score highest ahead of the rectal mobilization. Then it's one of the difficult steps that we are doing when we do colorectal laparoscopic surgery. The different techniques for this step are looking for combine different maneuvers to make mobilization easier, trying to decrease the operating time and decrease morbidities. There are 3 ways to do it. The lateral one, from lateral to medial. This is when we start doing the colorectal surgery, we try to do like the same way that we usually do in the open surgery. But after the time, we notice that when you use the medial to lateral approach, it's easier and it's safe. Then I want to show you the video of the medial to lateral approach. We usually use 4 trocars, 1 umbilicus, 2 trocars of the right side of the abdomen, and 1 the left side. Here you can see the head of the patient is this side, the foot of the patient are here, the duodenum here, we usually start the dissection just below the inferior mesenteric vein. Here you can see the vein there. I'll show you. Here you can see the duodenum, the mesenteric vein, and we started the dissection opening the retroperitoneum plane just below the vein, and dissect this from medial to lateral until you get to the Gerota fascia. After that, we go over the pancreas and we go to open the laser sac just in the base of the transverse mesocolon. When we are complete these two dissections, we go to cut the inferior mesenteric vein. We usually use these plastic clips called hemolocks. And after that, we cut with advanced bipolar. I'm gonna go first there. You can see we are cutting the vein with this advanced bipolar instrument. And after we cut the vein, we now have to, there you can see, this is a good view. Here, we already cut the vein. Here you can see we open the laser sec just in the base of the transverse colon over the pancreas. And in this part, we are trying to get together both dissections, keeping the pancreas down and separating the pancreas from the transverse mesocolon. Usually it's an easy plane. Here you can see the pancreas here, and you can do some blind dissection there. And we go from medial to lateral, keeping the pancreas down and separating from the pancreas from the transverse mesocolon. After that, we keep, I go there, you can see the Gerota and the left kidney there. We keep a gauze there in the final part of the dissection, and after that we are going over the transverse colon, and we try to go into the laser sac again. Here you see, we went into the laser sac and start cutting the additions, the gastrocolic additions, and liberating the transverse colon from the stomach. After this dissection, we finally find the gauze that we keep on the other part of the dissection, and when we find the gauze, the final part of the dissection is easier. Then we know, there you can see, there is the gauze that we keep from the other part, and then we just have to cut and get together both dissections. I'll go faster here. After we finish this part, we have to go for the left parietal colic, and I'm going to show you now. Here you can see we finished the part. Now we are, and you can see when we start the section of the left parietal colic, it's very easy because the plane is already dissected by the other side. Then it's very easy to complete the splenic flexion mobilization. When you already did the dissection from medial, this part is completely easy. Then here you can see the stomach there, the posterior wall of the stomach, the pancreas, the hirota, and the spleen. And the colon is completely down. And for sure, if you mobilize the splenic flexure like this way, you always will have or will get enough colon for your tension-free anastomosis, even the anastomosis is very low in the pelvis. Here you can see another paper. Here the authors show the difference or compare the lateral approach against the medial approach, and they show that the operating time is less when you use a medial approach, and the time to oral intake is less, and the hospital stay is shorter too when you use a medial approach. They conclude that both approaches are safe with no difference in complication, but when you use a medial approach, you have some advantage in operating time, restart oral intake, and hospitalization time. The limitation of this study is that it's not a randomized controlled trial. What we usually do at Clinical Las Condes and University of Chile Hospital, we usually use a selective mobilization of the splenic flexure. We use 4 trocars for that, and we always use the medial to lateral approach. And in summary, I can say that the splenic flexure mobilization is not a routinary. You have to decide case by case. When you decide to do it, you have to start the surgery by this step, I think. It's not easy. You need skill. And this is important because if you don't have a good training for do this step, you will get high morbidity. Then that's why you have to know how to do it, even you are not doing always. There is no standard technique. You can use whatever you want, but we think that is faster and is safer when you are doing medial to lateral approach. Remember that there are anatomic variation, especially in the blood supply in the splenic flexure segment of the colon. And always remember that the morbidity is higher when you take down the splenic flexure. Thank you very much.
Okay. สวัสดีครับ Good morning. I'm Dr. Ponchai Jansityanon. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry, Chulalongkorn University. Today I'm going to give you the talk about the Royal College of Dental Surgeons of Thailand. Let me share your screen. Okay, as I already told you that I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry, Chulalongkorn University, and Dr. Paiboon, Chairman of the Orthodontic Department, asked me to give you a talk about the Royal College of Dental Surgeons of Thailand. And this is the kind of a system that similar to the British system. For the American people, they don't have the Royal College of Dental Surgeons. They have like a diplomat American board, something like that. So let me start with the dental education in Thailand. For dental school, for the undergraduate student, we have to study about 6 years. I'm not sure. I think it's different from Japan and also different from the US, because the US, the student have to pass the college first and then go to 4 years for dental school. For the postgraduate student, for the postgraduate study, there are two ways. First one is have to study under the university rule or the government rule. You can be either 1 year training, clinical training, or 3 years higher graduate, like clinical training for 3 years. And also the next one is a Master of Science, which might be similar to other countries. And the last one is the PhD program. That's for the under university rule. But in Thailand, we also have the Royal College of Dental Surgeons of Thailand that we control of the clinical training. If the student pass this way, they're going to become the board certified. That they might say that they are the diplomat Thai board of blah blah blah, either oromaxillofacial surgeon or orthodontic specialty, endodontic specialty. And for the training in Thailand, usually there are almost all of the program are 3 years, except the oromaxillofacial surgeon, there are 4 years. And they also have the 8 years program, which combine between the oromaxillofacial surgery and also the medical degree. It means that once they study 8 years, they can become the board certified for for the oromaxillofacial surgeon, and also they have the medical degree too. And let me show you about the statistics of our school, Chulalongkorn University. We have all the thing that we talk about. Most of the student is the master degree student. We have last year we have about 170s. And the second one is the residency training, which is under control of the Royal College of Dental Surgeons. And we have not enough PhD program yet, PhD student yet. We have only 40, but in my thinking, I think we have to increase the PhD student. Otherwise, we cannot get the good quality of the research. And the total student, we have about 367, which is increasing from the last few years. I hope we can increase more and more for the postgraduate student. Let me go back to the Rcds, or Royal College of Dental Surgeons. In Thailand, we established in 2003. And the structure is we have the board committee, like the committee that control the whole country. And we have the president, which I was the president in the last term, about 3 years. And the administrative have the president, deputy president, or vice president, and also dean or director of the training center, and also the chairman of the sub-board committee of the training. We have the sub-board committee we call the training and board certified sub-board committee. And right now in Thailand, we have 12 specialties, which I will tell you later. And for training institution, the training can be either in the university or in the hospital. But now we like to increase the training in the hospital because they have a lot of cares. But in Thailand, we have only 4 hospitals that have the training program. And most of them are oral maxillofacial surgery training in the hospital. And we have the dental institution like a dental school, but it's not dental school. It under the Ministry of Public Health. They build up the dental institution, and they also have the training program in the institution. That's the structure of the RCDS. And what are they doing? What the role of the RCDS? The first one, they are the group that can approve the curriculum. It means that if any university want to have the clinical training, they have to send the curriculum to the sub-board committee, and then sub-board committee will approve and then send to the board committee of the RCDS. And they also have to go back to check it, to check their training every 3 to 5 years to make sure that the quality of the training is good. And the other role is the quality control of the training that I already told you, that they go back to check how well of that training, and also they control of the examination. They make the examination, make the exam, and then let the student come to take the test. And they certify board. If the trainer, the trainee want to become the certified board, they have to pass the process that I gonna tell you. And in Thailand, whenever we have any problem about the academic confusion or academic issue, such as sometimes in one day the government want to control the X-ray machine for dental office, and it's kind of like a confused. So the Royal College of Dental Surgeons take the control to solve the problem. We get the seminar. We ask the specialist, the expert, to seminar to get the conclusion that the X-ray should not under control with other people. We should control by ourselves, and then we give the conclusion to the government, and then they believe us. So right now the X-ray machine is under the and not under the nuclear something, the nuclear office, but it's gonna be the same way as belong to. And this is the example that the Royal College of Dental Surgeons signed the MOU between the Ministry of Public Health and also the Dental Faculty Consortium of Thailand to develop a health service system to build up the standardized in the training system. And this is the picture of the minister of the Ministry of Public Health. And we also improve the quality by we create the teacher development program. We build up two systems. The first one we make like a workshop we call the research methodology for the trainer, because for the clinician, they not gonna do the research very well, not like the PhD doctor. So we train them to know about the correct way to do the research. So we make the workshop research methodology for the trainer. And also in the hospital, they're not a teacher like in the university. So we teach them, we show them what it is about the dental education for the clinical teacher. We teach them about the problem-based learning, case-based learning, small group teaching, because for the residency training, they always teach in the small group. And we show them about the education in 21st century, skill teaching, and also show them about how to evaluate the residency, the resident. And this is the other way to improve the quality. we ask the sub-board committee to seminar 2 times per year, because they have to think about what they're gonna do, and then at the before the last year they have to conclude that what did they do for 2 years, is that good, or they have to improve something more. And for the people that already board certified, we make the workshop for them to improve their clinical skill, such as for X-ray people, for endodontic people or endodontists, we teach them how to interpret the CT scan, because maybe we have like the old endodontists that they don't know how to handle with the CT scan very well. So we make the workshop for them. And each specialty have to do the workshop. And Rcds also set up the academic symposium every year. And the nature of the conference is going to be the multidisciplinary approach. We make 2 or 3 specialty come to make the conference, get the topic that some interesting on that year. And for the residency training, for the resident also have the role in this symposium. We ask them to present their work and also have the research competition. That the picture that I give the award for the winner for the research competition. And also the Rcds improve the quality by ask our specialty to get to make the selected reading of our specialty, because otherwise no way that the trainee gonna be able to read all the material in their life. So we ask them to make the core reading that we usually call the selected reading for them. So that's the way to improve the quality of by the Rcds. And right now we have 12 specialty. The first one is oral maxillofacial surgery, which is, I think, is starting the training in Thailand, the first one. We have operative dentistry, endodontic, community dentistry, prosthodontics, orthodontics, periodontics. Oral diagnostic side, we have 3 specialty in this group: oral medicine, oral maxillofacial radiology, and oral and maxillofacial pathology. And we also have forensic dentistry, which is the newest one. Pediatric dentistry, general dentistry, like a super general dentist, and also the last one is occlusion and orofacial pain. In terms of numbers of the specialties, right now orthodontics, sorry about the misspelling, orthodontics has the maximum number is 407, and the second one is oral and maxillofacial surgery, 402. And the total specialists in Thailand in terms of clinical specialists, we have about 2,102. And for the ratio between the specialists for board certified and general dentist is about 1 to 10, which I think we like to have more specialists in Thailand. And for the next question is, who can train in Thailand? Of course, it has to be Thai citizen, and the requirement is they have to graduate from dental school that is approved by the Thai Dental Council, and they need to have the Thai dental license, and they should have the good moral and ethics. And foreign citizen, we accept the foreign citizen too, but make sure that it has to have the MOU between countries. But I think this is not the strong requirement though. But I think the second one is more important, that the training institution has to accept you. Maybe you have to contact with the training institution, and they can do something, arrange something for you. And that person have to be approved by the training and board certified of sub-board committee of each specialty. So we get the foreign citizen some training from around the country from Thailand, such as Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. And the training program is about once you train it, there's some requirement that you have to finish the training in 3 or 4 years and 8 years for the oral and maxillofacial combined with the MD. And you have to get the lecture and also the critical training. And most of the specialty, they require that you need at least 2,000 hours of clinical training. And another rule is the resident have to do one research project and publish in the journal that accepted by the National Committee of Education, like the government organization. And how to become board certified? You need to have the 2 parts. Part 1 is a paper examination. The student, the trainee can take after 2nd year of training. And after you finish the training, you need to go through the part 2 examination that have the two parts. First part is that you have to submit your portfolio. It means submitted cases. Some specialty ask for 3 cases. Some specialty ask for 7. For oral maxillofacial surgeon, they ask for 10 cases, which vary among each specialty. And you have to go around for case-based examination. The examiner will show you the case and then ask you about what you're gonna do about this case at the case-based examination. And who are the candidates to become the board certified? Of course, you have the first one for sure. You have to graduate from the formal training in Thailand. The second one is if you get the formal training from other countries, such as the US, the German, maybe you can candidate for the board certified. But the second requirement is you need to have the Thai dental license. If you don't have the Thai dental license, you cannot become the board certified. And the last one we open for other programs, such as if you study the master degree or PhD, you have to do the 1 year clinical training, and then you can go to the board examination. Or you get the training only 1 year program, postgraduate, and then you need 3 year experience. 3 year experience means that you can practice by yourself after you finish 1 year for postgraduate study, and then you practice by yourself 3 years, and then you can apply for the board certified process. Or you don't go to any school, but you practice by yourself, such as you finish your dental degree, and then you do endodontic treatment a lot, and then you think that you become the expert. But you have to wait about 5 years, and then you can apply for the board certified process. That's all about the Royal College of Dental Surgeons for Thailand. If you have any questions, I will be very happy to answer your question by email. You can contact me at jpornchai@hotmail.com, jpornchai@hotmail.com. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Good morning. It's my honor to be here in the Faculty Development Seminar 2020. And the topic that I would like to share today is Dual Joy PhD Program in Faculty of Medicine, Sirat Hospital, Mahidol University. Why do we encourage dual and joint PhD program for faculty development? Because we have 3 reasons. First, we would like to create the future qualified global leaders in medical and biomedical science. Second, we would like to increase international research collaboration. And finally, it will help us to increase resource allocation effectively. First of all, I would like to tell you the differences between dual and joint PhD program. The joint PhD program, the graduate will receive one certificate by two universities. Joint PhD has one curriculum, one research project with co-supervisions from two universities. In contrast, for the dual PhD program, the graduate will receive two certificates from two universities. Dual PhD program has two curricula with credit transfer, but they also do joint research project with co-supervision, similar to joint PhD program. In Faculty of Medicine, Sirat Hospital, Mahidol University, we did and have done several dual PhD programs. First, start with the collaboration with Kyungpook National University or KNU in South Korea. Then with National Changkung University in Taiwan, Tsuchi University in Taiwan, Kobe University in Japan, Murdoch University in Australia, Kumamoto University in Japan, and recently Nagita University in Japan. Currently, we have students, both outbound students and inbound students. 2 students in pharmacology, immunology with Kumamoto University. 3 students with Murdoch University, the student from medical biochemistry and molecular biology. And we have 1 graduate student already that finished double PhD program with the KNU in South Korea in immunology and biomedical science. And also another graduate student that finished medical physiology and medical science in Tsuchi University. We're very proud of them and looking forward to have more students graduate in dual PhD program. For the joint PhD program, we have both inside Thailand and outside Thailand internationally. We start with the joint PhD program in biomedical science with University of Glasgow in UK. And we are very proud of that we have joint PhD with Tokyo Medical and Dental University in Japan. And we also have the joint master program in clinical epidemiology with Chulalongkorn University and Khon Kaen University in Thailand. Now we have 2 students join the joint PhD program with University of Glasgow in the field of biomedical science. And we have 6 students who is the surgeon that join the joint PhD program with the Tmdu, and we are very proud of them. We have academic cooperation agreement on the joint degree doctoral program in medical science between Mahidol University and Tokyo Medical and Dental University, Japan, active from 7 August 2019. And we working together. We have the program committee both from university. In Mahidol University, we have Associate Professor Dr. Vitun, Associate Professor Asada, and Associate Professor Natawut, and also have the organizing committee from Tokyo Medical and Dental University, Professor Dr. Akita, Professor Dr. Miyake, and Professor Dr. Tanabe, and more professors that join to help us to create this program successfully. We want to create the medical doctors who are capable of designing innovation or conducting research for improving quality of patient care. And also the graduate should have research skill, are able to continuously promote their specialized fields and also with other related fields with morality and ethics. That is our goal of our joint PhD program in medical science. This is the degree that we are so proud of because it's the joint program between Japan and Thailand. The graduate will receive Doctor of Philosophy in Medical Science. The student takes 22 credits. The program is taught in English. We will recruit both Thai and international graduate medical doctors. And our collaborations with Tmdu Japan will create only one joint degree with Tmdu in biomedical science, medical science. The curriculum structures has 5 important components. The first is clinical core subjects. This is the only course in our Mahidol University that the PhD we have a chance to expose to clinical skills. They also have clinical statistics and biomedical informatics to create doctors that have competencies in data science. We also have the cancer professional training subjects, research course subjects, and also experimental and thesis writing. During the 4 years of the studies, the student can be in Thailand or in Japan. So they can stay in 2 different environments. They will expose to different cultures and will finally turn to be the global leaders as we expected. They will expose to clinical core 1 and clinical core 2 in 2 different countries. And they will study informatics, cancer, experimental projects, and research during their training. So they will finally get the joint diploma from MU and TMDU in case that they completed that training. This is 2 different beautiful country, beautiful campus that are our pride, and we are so proud of this program. We expect that we will create the successful global leaders in medical and biomedical science, the clinical scientists that have strong international research collaboration, and because the students, they do research in the real situation. So when they come back to be the faculty in Mahidol University, they will have a sustainable and a long life partnership with the Tmdu that we are very proud of. If any student interested in our program, you can contact in Thai side with Miss Asuni and Miss Wanvisa. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I am Keiichi Akita, Division Head of Joint Degree Program, Advancement Division, Institute of Global Affairs, Tokyo Medical and Dental University. In the year 2020, our lives have changed completely. That is because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In early April 2020, we were unable to start the usual new semester. Until 2019, we could travel wherever we wanted and visit and meet whoever we wanted. However, now it is very difficult to gather together. The Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 have been postponed to July of this year. Now, I want to talk about change in education and research activities in Tmdu because of COVID-19 pandemics. Since its initial outbreak in China in December 2019, COVID-19 has spread rapidly across the globe. Until April 2020, infections had been confirmed in more than 200 countries and regions. Over 3 million infections and 200,000 deaths had been recorded. In Japan, the first confirmed case of COVID-19 infection was reported on January 16, 2020, and the number of domestic infections and deaths has increased since then. In Japan, there are problems such as lack of medical resources due to nosocomial infections and spread of infections to medical personnel. The faculty year 2020 started on April 1st. In Japan, the number of confirmed cases is increasing, especially in Tokyo, and a state of emergency was announced twice. The second state of emergency is still ongoing. Interestingly, Japan's virus state of emergency is significantly looser than lockdowns elsewhere in the world. It largely calls only for more people to work from home and for bars and restaurants to shut from 8 p.m. We are forced to be in challenging medical care situations, economy, life and work style, and education. Professor Yujiro Tanaka became the president of Tmdu at the beginning of April 2020. He became the president at the just real opening of the COVID-19 pandemic in Japan. Our president made an inaugural message on a homepage. Initiatives to overcome COVID-19 are our top priority. Although there is a view that university hospitals should prioritize advanced medical treatment, such an attitude would not be in the best interest of society in the event of an explosive surge in infections. So our university has started tracking COVID-19 in no time. The medical hospital will be at the forefront of treatment. I have instructed all our staff to do their utmost to save the lives in patients in Tokyo. I have requested all the staff in other departments to support the medical hospital in terms of manpower and physical assets. It is vitally important to protect medical professionals directly engaged in patient care from infection. Since the beginning of the spread of the infections, Tmdu Hospital accepted the largest number of patients in Tokyo. From the beginning, Governor of Tokyo, Ms. Yuriko Koike, has repeatedly appealed on TV to prevent the expansion of the infections. She always said "3密." 3密 is an important keyword of the fight against the COVID-19, and 3密 was chosen as Japan's buzzword of the year. Thailand explains the behavior modification of citizens. Thailand focused on avoiding closed space with poor ventilation, crowded places with many people nearby, and close contact settings such as short distance conversations, defining the concept called the 3 Cs. Later, the concept has been expanded to 3 Cs+, which includes behaviors such as loud talking and singing. The strategy of avoiding the 3 Cs helped to control the spread of the disease. This investigation revealed that the 3 Cs are the major risk factors that could lead to the occurrence of clusters. Since the finding, the Japanese public has been repeatedly reminded to avoid places and situations where these 3 conditions overlap. Declaring the first and the second state of emergencies and calling on the public voluntarily refrain from the leaving home unnecessarily, the government successfully encouraged the wider public to avoid the 3 Cs. Later, the World Health Organization (WHO) began circulating a global message through social media encouraging the people to avoid the same 3 Cs. In addition, last year, this character became widely popular. This character was drawn in 1846. Amabie is legendary Japanese mermaid or merman with a bird's beak-like mouth and 3 legs or tail fins allegedly from the sea. People made copies of these characters to defend against the pandemic. Hay fever in Japan is mostly caused by pollen from 2 native Japanese tree species, sugi and hinoki. Hay fever was relatively uncommon in Japan until the early 1960s. Shortly after World War II, Deforestation policies resulted in large forests of Japanese cypress trees, an important construction industry resource. When these trees matured, they started to produce large amounts of pollen. As the Japanese economy developed in the 1970s and 1980s, cheaper imported building materials decreased the demand Japanese cypress materials. It resulted in increasing forest density and aging trees, further contributing to pollen production and hay fever. As a result, approximately 25 million people, about 20% of population, currently suffer from this type of seasonal hay fever in Japan. The photo on the right was not taken this year. Wearing a mask is a very common habit of Japanese people. Therefore, the habit of wearing the mask is easily accepted by Japanese people. COVID-19 has affected the economy, medical care, and life and work style, and so on. It also had a major impact on the education system. Schools were forced to be closed temporarily. Even in medical and dental schools, the clinical clerkships and research activities were not able to continue to do. Besides, online education was adapted to many educational institutes. Tmdu decided to adapt this online education system as soon as possible and implemented it. We predicted the increase of the patients and decided to move to online education from the conventional education style much earlier than increase in patient number. In addition, at the beginning of November, we decided to continue online education next year. We made such a decision before the third wave of infections. Online education systems are composed of two styles. One is a synchronous style, that is to say, the real-time system. We mainly use Zoom. Students can take the lectures in real time from anywhere they can. This style is very easy to transfer from the conventional style. The professors could make the same lectures as previously performed just in front of the PC. The other style is the asynchronous style, that is to say, the on-demand style. We use the learning managing system WebClass. Students can take lectures wherever they can and whenever they can. We are making the stocks of the lectures, and we will try to expand the asynchronous system on every subject. We made the questionnaire for online education and learning at home. We got a good evaluation from 93% of students. They felt the strong expectation of the online education systems as a good support systems of active learning. These are examples of online education. The development of information and communication technology has shortened our spatial distance. We hope that we can contact students as close as possible. Also, I'd like the Japanese student to come to Japan and study as soon as possible. We had felt difficulties with experiments and research activities during the periods in the state of emergency. Also, we had been continuously restricted to prevent infections. From March 27, 2020, we were in the stage of the warning notice. We had to rethink the research plans and animal management plans. In those days, we were prohibited from starting new projects. From April 7, 2020, we were in the stage of state of emergency. 70% of staff and postgraduate students were reminded to stay home. After the first state emergency, we had kept level 1 to prepare for the increase in the infections numbers. As previously stated, Japan's virus state of emergency is significantly looser than lockdowns elsewhere in the world. The restrictions were not strict. Then, we had become accustomed to this difficult situation. When the second state of emergency was issued, we continued the ordinary lives and doing research activities just like previously we did. In the joint degree program with Chulalongkorn University, 3 students came to Japan in November 2020. They came to school after 2 weeks of quarantine. They will conduct researches at the Department of Orthodontic Science and Maxillofacial Orthognatic Science for 1 year. Before coming to Japan, Chulalongkorn University supervised the students directly, and Tmdu held online meetings to support them to start the research. Therefore, we think that the students could start their research smoothly. We are now making the homepage of the joint degree program on our website on the Institute of Foreign Affairs. On the main page, we show the important aim: connect the world through medicine and dentistry. Also, the subtitle is that gain access to research, clinical studies, and colleagues from around the world. After COVID-19, we hope that we can meet together as soon as possible. Thank you very much for your attention.